Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. My name is Ahmed Awan, and I'm here with our brother Yaser, Aslam. And about over a month ago, we did a class on habits of successful people. And due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to record it, nor were we able to project the presentation.
Yes. So Jazakumullah khairan. Ahmed's gonna be my co-host, inshallah. He's gonna be helping out, and we're just gonna inshallah go through this. And let's start inshallah right away. We're not gonna keep this as long as it's not live anymore. So we're just gonna start with the dua, and this dua you probably hear many speakers say, as they begin their talk, and it's actually ayahs from the Quran. It's in Surah Taha, which is chapter 20 of the Quran, ayahs verses 25 through 28. Qala Rabbi shahli sadri. My Lord, expand for me my chest, right? Wahlul uqdat min lisani, and ease for me my task. Yafqahu qawli. Right? Sorry, I kind of butchered that. قال ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني ويفقهوا قولي. So, my Lord, expand for me my chest, ease for me this task, and untie my knot from my tongue, that they may better understand my speech. And as you guys can see in the slide, this was actually the dua that Musa alayhi salam made before he went and spoke to Pharaoh. So, yes, Ahmed, feel free to jump in anytime you see anything that's worthwhile, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Yes. So for the agenda for tonight, we're going to just define success in our body, mind, and soul, right? We're going to define the words, like this topic is habits of successful people, right? So let's literally just take this entire thing of habits, let's define habits, success, and, like in what perspective to look at it from. And also we're going to use an acronym and a mnemonic device. I have to look at the spelling of that up, and some practical tips. And maybe we'll have Q&A in the comments below, and we'll try to be engageful and things like that.
Inshallah.
All right, inshallah. Let's get to it, inshallah. So tips for tonight, as you are listening to this, please, if you can, open up a tab, open up a notepad, or literally write these things down. We're talking about habits of successful people. So literally, even if it's on your phone, you got to take that out, write yourself a text email, write yourself an email so you can look it up later, right? But like successful people, write things down. Let's get to it.
Before we move on, Yaser. Yeah. I know since this is a recording, please, if you want, please, I recommend this. Slow it down sometime. Pause the actual recording. Write some stuff down.
Yes. So yeah, that's one of the benefits of not being live right now. And yep, a mnemonic device. Those of you guys who are possibly have not heard of this term yet in school, a mnemonic device is something that people use to help them improve remembering something, right? So this is just literally what I got as I Googled it. As if you're not available, remember I had to because I didn't know how to spell it, mnemonic, right? But yes, so write this down if you're taking notes. A program. Habits of successful people follow a program, okay? We're going to get to it, inshallah, but we're going to fill in each letter and what it stands for. And some of the feedback I've actually gotten is people, when they're doing this, this will help you remember. So again, that's what the whole point of a mnemonic device is. All right. So a program, that's what we're going to go through. So literally look at it right now tonight. You in your life, your successful habit here can help you make a difference in your own life and around the world. Right. So don't ever think that it's less. So now let's start defining these words. You're like, whoa, look at all this text. I just copied this from online. Habit. The definition of a habit is a routine behavior done on a regular basis, right? We can look at it some more. We can kind of delve deep into this, but for the sake of time, we're going to keep it simple. So now success. Habit is something that we do regularly, and success. Success is defined as, quickly look at it, it's the opposite of failure, right? It's accomplishing your aim or a purpose. It's a favorable outcome. It's a result. It's a positive result. It's a victory, triumph, the attainment of profit or popularity is even sometimes that way. But success is also prosperity, affluence, sometimes wealth, riches. Look at the words that we're using as synonyms for success, right? Again, this is through our worldly definition, right? affluence, wealth, riches, fortune, luxury, comfort, life of ease, the good life. That's what success is. Now, that's probably how, many of us, this is how probably Tony Stark would define success too, right? Someone who's very, very rich, someone who's got fame, right? Someone who that, and what would be someone's worldly definition of success? What would it be, Ahmed?
I mean, okay, someone's real definition of success is having everything they always wanted, having all that money, all the riches, having the biggest house, having the coolest cars, the nicest cars, and all that stuff.
Yes. So like what the American dream, being married, having 2.5 kids, and a 2-car garage and a pet. So is that what success is? Now we're going to look at it in terms of success in 3 things, right? Success for your body, mind, and soul, right? Soul intentionally being left hard to read, right? And also, but we want success in the dunya and the akhirah. And we're going to talk a little bit about balancing these 3 things that, the triforces, I call them, right? And their dunya and akhirah, trying to attain success in both, right? So what are some examples of success for the body? Go ahead, Ahmed.
All right, so success in the body, for most people, having the 6-pack abs, being very muscular, and and also being very, very well, having a very good cardiovascular system, so you can do a lot of stuff,
Yeah. So
okay.
Like I would say that's important, but yes, not obviously like the way years ago they would say like the magazine ads like in the checkout aisles, but like Instagram, how really like people really focusing on this. But yes, it is important to have success in your body too. It's important to be healthy. It's important to be fit. And what are some examples of being successful in your mind? I mean, anything that you can think of?
Being very smart. Okay, reading a lot of books. Those those are ways to be successful in your mind. But like being very smart. Being able to do a lot of stuff that require a lot of intricate stuff things.
Yeah.
You need your mind for that.
Correct. And like I think a lot of times like someone could have a successful body, but like the moment they open their mouth, like your mind is like the way you could tell someone's intellect is how they speak, if they're eloquent, if the content that they're talking about. Quick side note, I want to talk about something that I talked to my mom about. Is there's 3 types of people. There's the low intelligence, average intelligence, and high intelligence. We're talking about the mind right here. And get this, I didn't include this in the PowerPoint, but maybe I should have. But so people of low intelligence talk about people. So a lot of people who do vain talk, riba, backbiting, and just gossip, right? These are some things. Those are people of low intellect talk about people. People of average intellect talk about events. Maybe that's politics. Maybe that's something that really happened. Maybe this is Super Bowl that you just saw or the game that just came out or something like that. So low intellect talk about people. Medium intellect talk about events. And people of high intellect talk about ideas. Talk about things that are abstract. Literally, when you're talking about people, you're not taking yourself out of your shoes. When you're talking about ideas, the sign of intelligence is being able to entertain an opposing idea. So think about that. We're talking about success of the mind. You have to be open-minded. Think about it. For this talk is actually targeted towards MCNA, Muslim Children in North America, and YMJ, Young Muslims Junior. So to someone to become Muslim, they had to be open-minded. For someone to accept Islam, to someone to accept submitting to God and the message of truth, it had to be open-minded. Your relatives or someone had to be open-minded, successful in their mind to get there, and successful for your soul. Now we're going to talk about that. Every culture, every religion talks about the soul, but what is the soul? We're going to get to soul food, inshallah, by the end. And what is it that everything kind of, not soul food like fried chicken or anything like that, but what is this? Every culture talks about a ruh, our soul, something, the part of us that's divine, something of us that you cannot explain. You might be, you go to the doctor, you're okay. You don't have to see a therapist or a psychologist. You're of a healthy mind, but your soul, the part of us, literally, Ahmed, this is a side tangent. But I did want to mention, I think this is a bit of learning. You know how when you meet somebody for the first time and you have that feeling oh, I've met this person before.
Yeah, it's like a deja vu type moment.
Yes, like a deja vu like moment. We all humans, we have this feeling. We have that gut feeling. That's not in your body. That's not even in your mind. That's
That's
something in
just
your heart. Like, you meet someone for the first time, you're like, hey, I don't like them. There's something about them I don't like. So when you talk about the story of creation, there's a point when Adam alayhi salam was created, when Adam was made. This is the Muslim story of creation. All of our souls were actually made then. And we're waiting for our opportunity to then come onto this earth. We go from being created in in Jannah, to the life in the womb, to the life on this earth, to the life in the qabr, in the grave, and to the day of judgment, and then the hereafter. Maybe we'll talk about that some other thing, kind of looking at it from like a point perspective, right? But when you meet somebody, like your soul, when you say you met someone like possibly your soulmate or something like that, it's possibly because your ruh interacted with their ruh, your soul possibly mingled with them, like you've met them before. And a lot of people who go to Mecca for the first time, to Haram for the first time, they say this, like, I feel like I'm home. Like it's that feeling in your gut, like, that gut feeling that you get. And literally it's possibly your soul, and we know that, like, if we ever talk about death and anything like that on this, that as your soul leaves the body, right, it leaves from the feet first and it kind of comes out. And I kind of think of that as like the status bar loading on like when Adam Salam, even when he was created. Again, we'll talk about that in a future episode, inshallah, if we get an opportunity to. But yes, moving on. So here's some definitions
before we move on. Sorry
go
about that.
ahead.
So all of these are interconnected. So when you work out your body, you get oxygen is pumped out into your mind, and your mind works a lot more. That's why teachers tell you to do more physical activity so you can do better in school. That's how they intertwine. Same thing with the soul. If you work out, or work your mind with your soul, sometimes they interconnect, and sometimes you start making decisions when you think you're doing through your mind, but your soul is making that decision. And all of these things intertwine in some way, in some form.
Oh yes, success of the body, mind, and soul, they're all interconnected. Yeah, beautiful point. Like you need to have all three of them healthy. We got to, balance them. So some real quick, quotes about success. Like Zappos CEO says that success is about living according with your values. It's not everyone's success is not defined by somebody else or your own individually as well too. There needs to be some kind of compass that defines what success is. Basketball coach says it's a matter of satisfaction. Are you happy with your life? A few other people say success is about enjoying your work. I would think that is important, but that's a state of mind. Another definition is that success is deeply individual, right? So this is just some quote that we're getting from the dunya. But now here, how do we define success? Through the lens of looking at what our Creator has told us. Go ahead, inshallah. We're gonna translate this. Surah Asr, right? Imam Shafi said that the Surah 104, right? That if nothing else was revealed in the Quran, if God revealed nothing else in the Quran, this would be sufficient for the success of humankind. And God Almighty has revealed it. Very, very simple. Allah has that wal asr, by time. Like God saying time is a witness. Just like how you say, Wallahi, by God, you swear by something. That's what but God, He created everything. So He can say anything. He can swear by the sunrise. He can swear by asr time. He can swear by anything. But He's swearing by all of time, which is fleeting so quickly. Asr is also translated as the time that's short or moving, fleeting quickly, right? And from our 5 daily salah, Asr prayer is the one that actually has the smallest range to pray. Innal insana lafi khusr. Indeed, all of mankind is in a state of loss. Khasr. All of us are losers. Now, go ahead, Ahmed, finish up. That
إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
Yes.
And do believe those who accept the truth and join righteous deeds.
Yes.
And join righteous deeds and join to the patience.
Yes. So all 4 of these characteristics, the wa now is actually used for and in Arabic. So illa ladina, except illa like except like how we say la ilaha illallah, right? There's no God except Allah, except la all of mankind is in a state of loss except those who have faith and those who do good and those who promote the truth and those who promote patience. So I always find that patience, subhanAllah, being in there, that's in there, subhanAllah, we'll talk about this. So this is what Everyone is at a loss except for if you have these 4 things. Now, let's talk about habits, right? All habits can be learned and can be unlearned. For example, sleeping in. Like, I have a toddler at home and he wakes up every morning at 5:30. He wakes up around Fajr time. He sleeps early to bed, early to rise. It makes a person healthy and wise. We're going to talk about that later. But like, we learn certain things. There's only a very few things that we actually inherently already have. Like, some habits too, but most of them we learn. Like, we learn to kind of, even like racism and things like that, or negative things. A lot of those are learned behaviors. So like your behavior and how often you do it equals your habit. So behavior plus frequency equals habits.
And a very interesting note about habits is that it takes 7 days to create a habit, but it takes 4 times that amount to break that habit.
Yes. So I think I remember reading a paper in psychology that like 21 to 24 days to make a habit, and it takes 2 days on average to break a habit. So in Ramadan,
it's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yes. It's easier to make a habit, to create a habit, than it is to break a habit because you're already into it.
So, that's interesting. I thought that was the other way around. We'll look into that. So kind of looking at all the things that are around us, we have good habits and bad habits. We all know what our habits are. Good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. So like if you have a good habit, it probably, like I think from what I got, like it's hard to make that good habit, but it's easy to live with. Like for example, making your bed every morning. Bad habits are easy to form, like not making your bed. It's less work, but they're hard to live with, right? But habits of successful people are lifelong, right? Now, let's just dive right in, inshallah. So if you have anything, let's start with what's in your hand. Go ahead, start taking notes. We're going to get straight into our acronym, okay? To build a habit, to be successful, you need a program. Remember this mnemonic, remember this device to help you learn. The A is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, right? Allah is just the Arabic word for God. Most of us who probably listening to this are Muslim, but you need to, for you to be successful, I firmly believe you need to have that connection with Allah. You need to have that connection with God. That's how it connects to everything else. We were talking about our whole purpose of life, right? Our purpose of life is to obey God and live within the rule boundaries that He's given, and that's how we optimize our life in the hereafter. So it's like a test, right? Now, there is many ayahs that talk about Allah, right? Ayatul Kursi is one of them as well too. Surah 2, verse 155? 125. I gotta take a look. But
let me double check for that.
Yes, yes. Here's another ayah from Surah Hashr. This is an excellent one that describes Allah, right? It describes God. He is Allah, other than whom there is no deity, knower of the unseen and the witnessed. He is eternally merciful and especially merciful. He is Allah, other than He who has no deity, the sovereign, the pure, the perfection, the bestower of faith, the overseer, the exalted in might, the compeller, the superior. Exalted is Allah above whatever is associated with Him. And again, moving on to the last ayah as well too, is
okay.
Here we go.
I'll get that. All right, the last ayah is He is Allah, the Creator, the Inventor, the Fashioner. To Him belongs the best names. Whatever in the heavens and the earth is exalting Him, and He is the exalted in might, the wise.
Yes, subhanAllah. These are so many attributes of God: the all-seeing, the all-hearing, the most wise, right? And the bestower of faith, the overseer. We got to think about this. This is who we have to have a creation with. So immediately, everyone got this, right? The first acronym is Allah. We have to have a relationship. We have to have a connection with God. And in Islam, you pray to God directly. There's no intermediary. There's no person that you ask someone else to pray for you. When you miss your prayer, you can't ask your mom to pray for you. You can't ask your brother to pray for you. They can make dua for you. They can make supplication for you, but they cannot take place of those prayers the first thing asked in the day of judgment. Speaking of prayer, the next thing we have to be a successful person is we have to pray. In fact, majority of studies say those people who are successful, there's 3 or 5 things that they do before like 8 a.m. in the morning. One of them is meditation, prayer. That way it kind of helps you realign your purpose and your goals. All right. So obviously the first thing we're asked about on the day of judgment too is about our salah. And if those fall into right, everything else will be successful too. Because we want success in this world and the hereafter. The next one, R, read. What was the first revelation, Ahmed?
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Yes. Read in the name of your Lord who created, right? And thus began the message of Allah dictated. Verse from Native Dean song. But yes, so read. We have to read. We like not just a lot of us while we're in school, we don't like reading. We have homework, we have other things, but keep your mind busy. Reading is food for your brain, it's food for your thoughts, right? And yes, very, very simple. Iqra. In fact, the word Quran comes from the same root word as to recite. So Quran is a book that's meant to be recited, right? It's not just a book that's meant to be, meaning you read it out loud. And, you know, when you read it out loud, the words will sink into your heart, right? So keep your tongue moist with dhikr. Always try to, like, even in Salaam, when we're supposed to pray, as Muslims pray 5 times a day, we're supposed to not just say it in our head. Don't just read it in your head, but recite it out loud. But not loud enough that it disturbs the person next to you. Like, you know, like recite it that way. So, like, you know, I'm sure many of us have prayed next to a person who kind of, you know, might possibly recite loudly. You know what? I like lay off them. Maybe it's a little bit too loud, but that might be a way that they're attaining khushu. They're fully focused there, subhanAllah. So, like, you know, I would rather someone recite slower and like whisper out loud than kind of go through the motions and not, you know, be fully there. All right. Also, yeah, reading. Read in school. Like, you know, don't be afraid to be a nerd or a geek. Read books, man. Reading helps boost your vocabulary, and it's food for your brain. The more you consume, the more you know. Don't just watch things. I think a lot of us now, we're in an era where we're just watching YouTube videos, just like this one, and we're hearing someone else speak it. No, read it yourself, process it. The human brain has been reading for generations. You know, it's what makes us unique. And, you know, there's a reason the Quran came towards from now until the end of time. Allah left the messages in words for us to kind of, you know, this is the guidance that we have from, you know, our Creator. Our connection to Allah is through His words in Arabic.
And another point I want to make is there's this one sheikh from way back when. He said that one of the 5 basic things to help make a person successful is acquisition of knowledge. Okay, so reading is one of the best ways to acquire knowledge. So you can grab a book, you know, you can grab your local, go to. I know the libraries are closed right now because of COVID-19.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, just if look around in the house, find a book, and you should pick it up and read it. I kid you not. When you're done, you're gonna feel. So when you're done reading that book, you're gonna want to read more. You're just gonna want to read more and more because it creates that feeling inside your. You know how I said, you know, mind and body, or mind and soul are connected. Once you start reading, okay, your mind is boosted. You also always want to read more because your soul is, like, you know, is hungry for more, you know, more stuff.
Correct. So, like, you know, to set aside some time, read something, even if it's like, you know, like grab a magazine or something and just read it, man. Like, you know, just continue growing up and growing your skills, and don't lag behind. You don't want to kind of be at your 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade reading level your whole life. Keep letting that grow. And this is something that I'm actually kind of, you know, trying to focus on, but as well too, we have to read. Despite school, just do something creative. Leave it by your bedtime. Instead of staying up at night on your phone or watching something, read. Like it'll be so much better for you. Get like a night lamp and just read. You know, like a lamp next to your bed and read. The next thing is organize. Right? Program. PRO. Organize. Organize your life. Right? Like your mind, your thoughts. That's a lot. The dua is to kind of reprioritize, resynchronize our priorities. Right? Have a calendar. Have a schedule. When you have this, then you can plan. Okay, I have some time to do this. You can actually even plan time to chill. Plan time to spend time with your friends. Plan time to, you know, clean your room. Don't wait until it gets really messed up. Organize your room. So, like, Ahmed, what are some of the benefits of organizing or keeping a room clean?
You know where everything is. You won't lose everything. You know, you can be looking for a pencil, and that next thing you know, that pencil is gone. And it's your favorite pencil because your room is so disorganized. You won't find that pencil anymore.
Yes.
If your room is organized, you'll know everything where everything is, and it keeps a peace in mind.
Yes, literally, if you're organized. Like look at the desk right here on the right. It's clean. And you know where everything else, it just looks more presentable. And when you're disorganized, when you take off your clothes, clean your closet, do your laundry, stay on top of these things, organize, right? It's, it's important, man. Like, it's just also like, for example, if you lose something, if you're disorganized, you're more likely to lose something. You're more likely to forget something. So take the few minutes. This is a habit you have to kind of fight against. Again, we're talking about good habits versus bad habits. You have to fight against. Take the few seconds. It doesn't take that long to put things away properly. Put your books away properly. Don't just throw it there, because then it ends up, most tasks, like even sending an email or cleaning your room, it doesn't take that long. And you're like, man, why did I wait for a whole week to do this or a whole month or whatever? Just do it every day. It'll be so much better, right? Now, the next one is PROG, gratitude, being grateful, right? What is being grateful? It's like saying thank you. It's appreciating something, right? So again, writing stuff down. Like hopefully you guys are taking notes or writing this down. Write something down. Organize, schedule, account. This way you're held accountable. You have memory. You can look at things like a gratitude jar. I know someone who just literally just throughout the day write one sentence. Get a notebook and write one sentence. It can be a college ruled or wide ruled notebook, and write one thing of the 3 good things that happened today, or 3 good things. And you, by writing them down, you'll remember those. Don't write down the bad things. Don't focus on remembering those. And if you're ever having a bad day, open that up and read it. Just write down the 3 things that you're grateful for. In fact, after Salah, when we say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, how perfect is Allah? Alhamdulillah, again, gratitude right there. Alhamdulillah for a roof above our head. Alhamdulillah that we're safe. Alhamdulillah we have internet access that we can see this video. Alhamdulillah for all of these things. Alhamdulillah, for so many things for us to be grateful for, right? And like gratitude is the key to happiness. We look at rich people and poor, people who are not so well. Why is it that people who have less money are actually usually most of the time happier? It's almost as if the more money you have, the less happy you are. The less sleep you get at night, right? So be grateful. And this is in Surah Al-Imran, Allah reminds us, and it is not possible for one to die except by the permission of Allah at a decree determined. And whoever desires the reward of this world, we will give him thereof. And whoever desires the reward of the hereafter, we will give him thereof. And we will reward the grateful. So those people who are grateful, not only will they be happier in this life, but they will also be rewarded in the hereafter. So gratitude is extremely important. It literally is one of those things that, think of the glass being half full instead of half empty. Be grateful that you have a glass of water. There's people who don't even have a glass. The glass is shattered, or the water just fell on the floor, or the milk spilled. Right? There's no use crying over spilled milk. But be grateful that you have at least something there. Always be optimistic. Next thing is rest. Now, in our program, to be successful, you need to rest. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to go right back to mind, body, and soul for this one. And with rest, okay, you work out. Let's say you work out your body, right? You're going to need rest to, if you're trying to build muscle. I know a lot of the guys here, they're pretty young. Eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to start wanting to build muscle. And when you start trying to build muscle, you're going to need some rest for your body. So the muscle can build. The same thing goes with your mind and soul. Yes. Rest actually eases up your mind. It creates less stress, and you can do a lot. You can do a lot more when you're rested. The same thing goes with your soul. When you're doing a lot, even for your soul, sometimes you need to calm down. Sometimes it takes some time. Take a breather. It's probably the best thing for anybody. But then again, there's also having too much rest, and that can create a bad habit of becoming lazy and all that stuff. Yeah. So you always have to be able to create a balance between both.
Yeah. So rest is important. Your body, your mind, your soul has a right upon you. So you have to rest. A lot of us, especially when we're young, we're not sleeping enough. We're staying up late. We got to go to school early. On the weekends, then we sleep in. No. Get the 6 hours, 8 hours of sleep that you need a night, right? Be consistent, schedule it, right? And wake up at the same time on the weekends so your body's used to the circadian rhythm and things like that. Now, moving on to A, in the interest of time, we don't want to go too long. Make sure, aspire. Have some aspirations, have some strive and some goals. So it's important to have goals, right? Because if you don't have goals, then you're just kind of struggling to what? Just have small goals that you kind of reached, right? But remember to work locally. Help out your local masjid, help out your local school, but think globally. Don't just be, I know a lot of time now, especially nowadays, we're watching the news and, we're worrying and things like that. But no, worry about what's in front of you. The Prophet said, eat from what's in front of you, right? And something that we have not touched on too much, but food, when it comes to, our rest and things like that, our body, make sure you eat healthy food. Eat one of the worst vessels to fill, the Prophet Muhammad said, is your stomach, right? And like they say, a believer has one intestine, while a non-believer has 7, meaning like you'll be surprised how little you can live off of. I know many of us might be young and we're growing, right? But don't waste food, right? But also finish the food that we have. Be be grateful and eat healthy, and keep that in mind as well too. But set goals and strive to reach them. Set your goal that inshallah by the end of this month I'll learn this much Quran. I will finish this book. I will, by this year I'll be able to confidently write this and do this. So kind of focus on that inshallah. And
one more thing. Sorry for cutting you off.
Go ahead.
One more thing when you go for goals, okay? You might have that one big goal. It's like, I want to be a doctor, okay? You also have to hit those little goals just become that doctor. You know what I mean? So like, first you gotta get into college for you to become a doctor, and to get into college you need to in school you are right now. So take the smaller goals. Always go, if you're gonna have a big goal, always add much smaller goals so you can hit those first, so you can eventually achieve that bigger goal.
Yes, so that way you can kind of go for it. Like, for example, perfect example, you have to meet your goals for today to reach your overall goal. So like if there's a career path that you're going toward, then you need to think about that. You need to then pass the current class that you're in. You need to finish the current assignment that you have that's due tomorrow to achieve that higher goal. So yes, all your little goals, all the little steps add up to that. So yes, kind of consider that inshallah. And the last one, just like how we began this mnemonic with Allah, the last one, last but not least, is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace and mercy be upon him. Muhammad is the last and final messenger, and he's the perfect role model for all of humankind, right? So just like how I had the Allah slide somewhat empty, Muhammad is also like, we should know this. And, he's the messenger of Allah, the seal of the prophet, and Allah has full knowledge of all things, right? This is an ayah of Surah Al-Azab, but Prophet Muhammad, follow his example. One thing that we can do is Ramadan is coming up. A lot of times, we focus on reading Quran, right? But we also, once a year, or at least once a year, we're going through reading the seerah as well too. Read about the Prophet's life. Watch the message. Watch things about him. We need to learn about this man. This man literally came centuries ago, but he's changed the face of the earth. The orphan who adopted the earth. So somehow, like we as Muslims, we have to this is one of our things to be successful, is to follow the person who's Allah considers to be the most successful. And if you look at the life of Prophet Muhammad, there's no other person, if you really want to know suffering, he never met his father. His mother passed away when he was younger. His sons passed away. His wife passed away. His uncle, there's so much suffering, but what was this thing? How was the Prophet always described as? Someone who would be smiling, right? Someone you would see the white of his teeth. And when he would talk to someone, he would face them. We have to learn about the characteristics of Muhammad. Learn about our Prophet, inshallah. So, some practical things that we can do, right, is that'll help us implement in our daily routines, whether it's our car, commute, ride, in a bus, going up the stairs, how we browse the computer, like every single thing that we do, we can implement some of these changes today, right? Inshallah. Right? And Ahmed, is there anything you want to add?
No, we covered everything then.
Alhamdulillah. So yes, the acronym is a program. Allah, prayer, reading, being organized, being grateful, resting enough, aspiring, having goals and aspirations, and Muhammad, inshallah. So yes, inshallah. But very, very important quote: the people who understood the Quran the best, right, were the Sahabas. And they were with the Prophet. And you know what they would do when they would meet after any gathering, as they would part? What would they recite to each other?
Surah Aslam.
Right? And this is actually our sunnah, that in a gathering, as we end, to remind ourselves of who are the most successful. So inshallah, with that, we're going to end. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Right? So, inshallah, with that, we are done. Hopefully, you guys like. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, or suggestions in the comments below. And, I hope that you like this, inshallah, and benefited from it. And stay tuned, inshallah, for more. MCNA is excellent. Every month there is this prime time, and just like you will benefit from it. This is information that you can hopefully come back to and benefit from, inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right, jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah reward us for our effort, and may we get the best in this world and the best in the hereafter. Rabbina, oh Allah, please grant us the best in this dunya and the best in the hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the hellfire. Rabbina atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azab an-nar.